I, you know, we've all heard the saying in songs and people on the street where you hear them saying, "Oh, them a sprinkle them Highland them powder." We've all heard that. Now, it's funny that the most critical people of spiritual practices seems to appear or act as if they know the most about it, right? So my question is, how you know about island powder? Were you dabbling in island powder? How you know about island powder? Or did you hear Granny talking about island powder? Then my question is, well, if you heard Granny talking about island powder, where she? How Granny know about island powder? No. when it comes to this thing called island powder, right? That we've so much demonized. It all depends on intention. It all depends on intention. First of all, our ancestors, when they were dealing with island powder, they were dealing with natural oils, not synthetic oils, natural oils. When they were dealing with powder, the powder would have been like natural organic leaves and stuff that you pulverize. Basically, think of it as like a tea. How you can get like a moringa in its powdered form. Now remember, it all has to do with intention. Now when it comes to these old, I know I'm gonna put a knot on the stomach. These old obia practices, right? In these practices, it was used for healing, but it was also used for harm. So I'm not gonna come on here and tout and say, oh, it was all, roses and rainbows. I'm not gonna say that. But what I'm gonna say is that when it comes to these things, you have a good side and you have a bad side. But the problem is, due to ignorance, most people focus on the negative side, the negative side of the spectrum. And the reality is, most people who are going by hearsay, they don't know shit about these things. Right? Now, just like I said in a previous post, you got a Bible, and of course, everybody's got your beautiful, beautiful, great. Nobody would look on the Bible as a negative or bad thing. But when a person pick up a Psalms and they got go in a certain spot and read a Psalm for 7 days on you, intention. That's what I'm getting at. It all has to do with intention, but we focusing on the negative side, the negative part, but we're not focusing on the positive part. Oil, coconut oil, right? Coconut oil, olive oil, castor oil. All of these oils were used for our medicine. I'm sure if you what peppermint oil, eucalyptus oil. All of those things are oils that's used in these spiritual practices. Remember, it all has to do with intentions. Every time you turn around in the Old Testament, somebody will pour in oil on somebody's head. Right? That's a practice that is condoned by the church. Right? Anointing my head with oil. But again, when last you went into your church and somebody anoint you, right? The ancient people, they had a practice, and it wasn't just the Hebrews. When a person is gonna break a spell on their family, or break whatever spell it is on their family, they pray from, put their hand on their head, right? And pour oil on their head, and the oil come down their whole body, their face, their back, all over them, and cover them, and cure them, break that spell, right? No, that's something what people do. But when people get anointed like that, and granny anoint you, they're not gonna come and tell you, because that is taboo. So they're not gonna come tell you, say, granny or mama, break that spell by anointing my head with oil. They're gonna cover it up, they're not gonna say anything. Because, and again, you can't blame certain people, because that, they know the average person is basically illiterate to those things. Right? But I can guarantee you, to the persons who would have gotten such things, they can't say harm came out of it. Right? They cannot say harm came out of it. So this negative thing about sprinkling oil and powder, yes, negative. But it depends on the intention. Right? You got some people, if they come to your house and you got these oils, let's say you got these oils on your kitchen counter or whatever, and these powders and vials, just like this little video here, natural stuff, natural things for healing and stuff like that. What? They have your name in the streets all over the place. Right? Let me publicly say right here and now, nothing wrong with oil and powder. Intrinsically, there's nothing wrong with oil and powders. And I gotta tell you something, right? I gotta tell you something. Maybe if many of us were drinking those natural, include myself, natural oils that we're supposed to get, full of vitamins and stuff, and grinding up the moringa leaves and other medicinal leaves and drinking them, we would be better off. There's healing in these things. Right? There's healing in these things. Right? So go sprinkle oil and powder. But I would say sprinkle it at your own doorstep. Don't go nobody door sprinkling oil and powder. Keep it in your house and drink your good oil and drink your moringa tea and whatever kind of other good positive green leaf teas you can do. So oil and powder yourself, anoint your own head with oil, and you'll be all right. Anyway, just having some fun today, but still seriously putting out some seriously good stuff for my friends.